Hello, my name is Kabir, and today I will be showing you around the Seodaemun prison, originally named Kyongyeon or Keju in Japanese. The prison was established by the Japanese authority to imprison Korean independence fighters during the Japanese colonial era. This prison was originally opened in 1908 and has been operating for 80 years until 1987. The prison was not only used for the imprisonment of the independence Korean fighters, but it was also used for the prosecution and torture of those people. The negative connotation of this place continued even after the Japanese authority until 1987, as it was used for the incarceration of those people who fought against and resisted against the dictatorship during Park Chung-hee administration and Cho Dong-wan administration. Today, this prison has been transformed into a museum history hall and has become a dark tourist attraction for us to visit. Let's go and learn more about the Korean history. The Seodaemun Prison History Museum houses some of the 10 edifices and other facilities out of the original 15 building, including the Women Prison Building, Execution Site, Cookhouse, Leper's House, Exercise Facility, and the Vice Tower. Korea was forcibly annexed by the Japan in 1910 and was under the Japanese colony until 1945. During the period, Korean people launched the independence movement where they strongly fought against the Japanese rule for their independence. At that time, Seodaemun prison was used by the Japanese authority to unfairly imprison and torture Korean independence fighters in order to continue their colonial rule. The exhibition hall found at the center of the museum has a chamber in the basement that displays torture technique and equipment used by the Japanese warden and police. The torture technique the Japanese authority used on the Korean independence fighter include peeling off the skin, breaking and cutting finger, driving a stake into women's genitalia to render her barren, as well as putting a person inside a wooden box with a protruding neck and violently shaking it. Other forms of torture also include waterboarding, interrogating without sleep, and locking up prisoners in a vertical coffin for days and nights without water or food. Many perished while being tortured or formed a festering wound after their release, which resulted in their deaths. Not only that, but also the structure of the prison was constructed to evoke fear by the Japanese authority. One of the ways it implemented fear was the all-seeing panopticon-style prison design. This radical structure allowed the Japan wards to keep a close watch without the inmate being able to tell whether they are being watched. This layout optimized the state of surveillance, which brought the Korean prisoner more fear, limiting their actions. Another way the Japan authorities suppressed the Korean prisoner were on how the exercise place was constructed. During the exercise time, each prisoner were controlled and isolated because of the architectural design that separated each prisoner by a wall, making it harder to communicate. One of the independence fighters who went through this torture is Yu Gon-soo. Yu Gon-soo was part of the March 1st independence movement. Yu, together with her family, encouraged the public to join an organized demonstration that Yu planned with other independence activists. The demonstration took place on March 1st at a Union marketplace with around 3,000 demonstrators shouting, "Long live Korean independence! 대한민국 독립 만세!" Though the demonstration was peaceful, the Japanese military arrived, pulling out gunfire on unarmed demonstrators, killing 19 people, including Yu's parents. Yu was arrested then and was told by the Japanese military that they would offer her a lighter sentence if she admits her guilt and help them to find other independence fighters. However, Yu refused and remained silent while she was being severely tortured. Despite fighting for fair trial, she was found guilty and was sentenced to 5 years in Seodaemun prison. Even in prison, Yu continued to support the independence movement and prepared a large-scale protest with her fellow inmate in March 1930. However, the Japanese authorities found out her plan and imprisoned her separately in an isolated cell. Yu was later found dead from injuries caused by the torture she received in the prison. Not only Yu, but there were several independence demonstrations and fighters that were fairly imprisoned and tortured in the Seodaemun prison. In 1945, the Japanese colony ended, which immediately led to the release of the prisoners in the Seodaemun prison. However, the prison did not stop operating and was taken over by the USA military in 1945 and became the Seoul Detention Center. The prison operated under different administrations until 1987 when it was finally closed. The usage of the prison by the Korean government was also unethical and heinous, as it was used to imprison and wrongfully execute people who were against the dictatorship rule under the Park Chung-hee and Cho Dong-hwan administration in the 1970s and in the 1980s. Today, the Seodaemun prison has been transformed into a museum that honors the people who lost their life here, but also a symbolization of how horrible the Japanese era was for the Korean people. This museum is also surrounded by the Independence Gate and Independence Park, making it a great place to visit for one day. If you are interested in the Korean history and want to learn more, Seodaemun prison is a great place to start. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you can come to this museum and learn more about the Japanese colonial era and how it has impacted the Korean people today.